wash your hands. Om Govindaya Namo Ityastham Prakshalayamma. Om Achyutaya Swaha. Om Keshavaya Swaha. Om Madhavaya Swaha. Om Govindaya Namo Ityastham Prakshalayamma. Om Pavitresto Vaishnavyo Savikurvaha Prasatvam. Yachitren Pavitrena Surasya Vaishnavihi. Tasya te Pavitra Pati Pavitra Putasya Jattamaha Punitachite Amma. Bole Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Satnarayan Swami Ki Jai. Har Har Mahadev Ki Jai. And when you all please stand. As we begin our worship this morning to the Devatas and Devis, as we conduct Satnarayan Puja and Krishna Bhagavan Puja, the Gheerahoo trace Mandir this morning, Shiva Mandir. First and foremost, as we stand, we offer salutations to Bhagavan. As we express our gratitude and love through the many and varied forms on this day. Indeed, just being here is a blessing. With a natural lingam, the natural form of Lord Shiva, we are all in His presence. So may our time that we spend this morning be worthwhile. May it energize our connection with Bhagavan, strengthen our connection with Bhagavan. Because this relationship with our Devatas and Devis is the strongest relationships we can ever find. Prabhu, we love you. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Apavitraha Pavitro Vaha Sarvavastham Gato Ativa Yasmari Pundari Kaksham Svahya Bhantrashchi. Om Swastina Indro Vridhashravaha Swastina Pukha Vishwavedaha Swastinastaksho Arishtanemi Swastino Brihaspatirdhatu Prashadasvamartaha Prashni Mataraha Shubham Javano Vidhe Pujadmayaha Agnirjihvamanavaha Suryachakshaso Vishwino Deva Avasagamanniha Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pasyamakshadhiya Jatraha Sthirairangai Sushtuvagum Sastanum Bhidashemahi Devaitam Jarayu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Siddhi Vinayak Ganapati Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. Sarvadevata Sarvadevata ki Jai. Prithvi Payadhikalo Kadevi Tom Shradat Panchare Mam Devi Pavitram Kuruchasanam. Of the flowers of God. After please take your seats. So as we conduct puja, we will have a couple of bhajans as well. So I invite you all to join, taking the atmosphere, taking the mantras, taking the bhajans, and of course, most importantly, as much as you can, Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai
Jai. Sabko Jai Sitaram.
Jai.
Everyone, Jai Sitaram. Sabko mean everybody. If you didn't know, Sabko. So when I say Sabko Jai Sitaram, or anyone says that, means everyone Jai Sitaram. And pay my respects to everyone in the best way possible by chanting the name Sitaram to greet you. It is much more than a greeting. It is paying respect to the divinity in everyone and everything. So firstly, Shubh Swagatam. Welcome to Mandir this morning. And as my favorite statement as I start every Sunday morning at Salikram Mandir in downtown village, I say welcome home, because Mandir is a home away from home. Just as you love your home, just as you identify with your own home, be it a mansion or a jupa, you must one day identify with your mandir as a home as well of yours. Up to last week, I was with my guru, the Dharmacharya, and we were having a little discussion after he appeared. And he says, remember to tell people what to do. And don't emphasize too much on what they shouldn't do, because everyone knows that. And when you emphasize on what people shouldn't do, they do it for more. Samjhe? Because you put the spotlight on things they shouldn't do, and that accentuates it. So we must start identifying our mandir as our home away from home, if we call ourselves bhaktas. Even this morning, we had a beautiful exercise just now. And, you know, for those who play all fours, you know they say 13 does weight, right? 13 does weight. And 13 means, according to one of my uncles, he used to say, it come like you reach by the sea. You put on your bathing trunks, you walk out right where the water breaking by the sand there. But you step inside to take a bath. I didn't say only the people who came up there and come to do it. I said everyone, right? If you remember well. Everyone was invited. So many of us still like to play all fours on 13. Because, why am I telling you this? Dharma is about practice, putting your knowledge into practice all the time. And you should not, when you come Mandir, the most important people in Mandir, the most important beings in Mandir is who? Not me. No Pundit, no president too. The most important beings in a Mandir is always the Devtas and Devis. None of us are bigger than the Devtas and Devis. Correct? So when you are afforded the opportunity to be in Mandir, you don't come to show your face alone. You don't come to just take on the experience of everyone else. But you make sure, and you must, in some way, go to the devatas and devis. Realize I'm not using the word murti, because that is not our word for Mandirs. No Mandir in Trinidad and Tobago have murtis. You know that? It was a murti before. But when they come and do pran pratishthan, sthapan kare, install those murtis, it is not a murti again. Because pran pratishtha is done, the actual devta and devi is there now in an energy form. So we must never say we come in to do puja when we murti. We go and we come in, to see murtis, and that is not mandir. We come to see the devtas and devis. Because we are not able to be here with them 365, 24/7. So whatever little time from our schedule we are here, we must make the best use of it. And make sure, for those who didn't offer your gel this morning, your dhar, when I had people up there, you have time before you leave here today. We have water, we have lota, we have flowers. You must make sure. Nobody can stop you from doing that, right? But you must make sure, anytime you reach a mandir, that you must do something. Make an offering for yourself. Don't reach by the seashore and don't bathe, right, Shobha? Must make an offering. This mandir is a blessed place for those who forget that, and those who do not know. It's 150 years plus. This mandir was established because there was a guy cleaning here, this land, and by, not accident, but by the will of God, he chopped the stone. And the first time was milk that was coming out of the stone. But he didn't take note of that. He didn't really, pay too much heed. But the second time was blood, where they cut. And they consulted with the pundits of yesteryear. And right in the back here in Silver Stream in those times, had a pundit by the name of Aliyar Chaudhary, for those who don't know that. And many of us were in dream to know. Aliyar Chaudhary was the father of a great pundit who was associated with this Mandali, Pandit Mahesh Maharaj. He grew up right, he born right in Silver Stream here. Consulting with the pundits, they realized that was no ordinary stone looking at them, those three stones, but divine, natural lingams. We are so blessed to be in the proximity. We are so blessed to be around. Many people have, how many people here have gone to India? Raise your hands. See? Right. Very good. So we have one person amongst all of us being to India. Because not everybody can afford the ticket. Not everybody can handle the flight. And not everybody can stomach India too. There's a different conditioning you have to have. My point being, you don't have to reach India, because plenty of people feel their best devotees when they reach where? India. But out here too, you can get the same blessing, because you have the same thing where you go in India to search for. Sangeet. And we have it in every mandir. We have lingam like this in where? Over here in Gheerahoo trace. We also have in Patiram trace. And there are a few other places that are less known. But we are so fortunate that God doesn't live in India alone. Because if God was living in India alone, there would be trouble for all of us now. So you have an actual living lingam. Of course, we know that many people have gotten significant blessings by coming here and making their offerings. I can remember when I was 16 years old and I was a Pundit here. For Shivratri one night I did puja for over 1,000 people. Over 1,000 people. Lined up all about in dark, and the Mandir wasn't like this, you know. The Mandir wasn't like this in those times. The Mandir was half brick up, half bar up, and the rest was wire. Remember those days? I don't think plenty of you were here in these. My father knows that, and a few elders. But the present crop here, the majority of you don't know that place, I'm sure. And then, by the grace of a good minister, a former minister, by the name of Sangeet, without asking a question, and the people in Gheerahoo didn't know how this Mandir built. Because he asked me one night, he said, which Mandir? I said, it's a little Mandir in Gheerahoo. It's a beautiful place, but they need help. He asked what is the conditions. I said, well, I think handle conditions really here yet. We had to build it to this up. And that Monday, that Radsin sent a crew, demolished the building and built this in a month or two. Of course, other people take credit for it, but none of them even knew what was going on until the Mandir started. So, even your MP at that time, he took a lot of credit, which was undeserving. Because it's Daniel Singh who did this, not anybody else. So we have been able to upgrade the physical structure. But the question is, what upgrade has occurred in the minds of the Hindu people in this area? Because that is the challenging question all over. We upgrade the structures, but we don't upgrade the minds. We have downgraded the minds of people rather than upgrade. And that is sad. But make the best use of it. Promote your Mandir. Promote your Mandir and treat everyone that comes here Atithi Devo Bhava. Guest is God. And we must be able to treat them so well that they will want to come back. Because you have to make this place attractive. It is already here, but make it really attractive. And I remind Mandirs, the committees, that your Mandir is not attractive when you have a judge, you know. That people just walk with a crowd for judge. Your Mandir is attractive by what you do daily here. Not even weekly, by daily worship. And encouraging everyone that comes here to worship. Encourage people, attract people. There are many Mandirs that you go to and the committee feel that is their Mandir.
Some mandirs you go to and you don't even feel welcome again. Or you feel like you're a stranger. Don't ever feel so here, and don't allow people to feel so here, right, Prezi? So when we have chance to be in this wonderful place, I guarantee you, your sincere prayer is answered. Not your prayers, no. Your sincere prayer. What is sincere? Sincere mean without. Sin mean without. Sincere mean wax. Without wax. What I mean by without wax? Long ago in sculpture work, when they're doing marble work especially, they will fill soap in blemishes in the sculpture. Soap to fill this space, and you wouldn't know. You'll feel everything is crystal. But it mixes like rolled gold. You have gold and Brazilian gold now, right? And it's only when people, after many years, they will realize they didn't have a pure marble. It had wax in it. So don't have wax in your prayer. May it be pure coming from your heart at all times. That is the best prayer. So many things to say, but I wouldn't say everything today. Just to remind you, your prayer has to be sincere. It mustn't have like a perpetuity of this year. You must make deals, because two people you could never make a deal with is Bhagwan and then who? The devil too. You can't make deals with both, because both of them will get out there. So be sincere. Whatever little you could do, or whatever, in everything that you do, make sure it comes from the heart, without any agendas. And I guarantee you, just like the thousands who have benefited by doing worship here, miracles upon miracles have occurred in people's lives. And I pray that miracles continue to occur in your lives through the blessings of our devotees and babies and Bhagwan Shiva. So on Thursday to Friday will be Janmashtami. You all know that. And we know the great and famous verse, Yada Yada Hi. What, everybody bright here? I can go home. Dharmasya. Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. So I'll say the whole slope. Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanam Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srajamyaham Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Chaduskritam Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Shambhavami Yuge Yuge Vrindavan Viharaya Ki Jai. Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. And that alone, just the first 3 words in that slope, is enough teaching for anybody to float the whole of their life comfortably with. You don't have to know the whole slope. Yada means what? Again. So again and again, for the sole sake of what? Dharma. God comes here. He manifests. Because some people say God is here, there, and what?
Everywhere.
But that is a loose statement, you know. That is a loose statement. And actually, it doesn't really hold water. God is here, there, and everywhere. God is where you could make a place for Him to start with. You understand that? If you don't make a place for God in your life, don't call God's name. Because that is just an exercise in futility. Because if you don't actually make a place for Bhagwan and do puja too, because that's how you treat Bhagwan and keep Bhagwan with you, by doing puja. Because there are so many bright Hindus now say, well, I overs puja too. I reach the next level. If you don't, the higher you reach as a bhakta, the more you will do puja, not less. So when people tell you them kind of dry words, you mustn't take them on. You must shut off your ears. Because puja, the more you love God, the more you will do puja. The more you will do puja. So yada, he again and again for the purpose of dharma, the sake of dharma, God comes. Every second that unfolds in your life is an altar, my friends. Every opportunity that is new that presents itself is an altar, a manifestation of God. That's why you have to look at this. Yuge, time after time, or time upon time, or time and time again. So just as time continues to unfold and unroll, you must always be in time. Just as every breath marks the time as going, you must make sure that you continue to do what you can in the best way possible to serve the devatas and deities, and by extension, everyone else. So if we are not growing, if we are not uplifting ourselves, if we are not enlightening ourselves, if we are not developing our knowledge and our practice of dharma, we should never be satisfied. Never be satisfied and say, well, you know, because sometimes as Babas, people is telling me, you know, Mr. Vichar, you know what it tell us? They say, well, for Noratam, every day there's offered 9, not looked there's offered 9 bucket of dhar. You know? A lot of people like to boast on their worship as well, you know. Never boast. Because boasting is a sign that you have too much or you're contented already. Never be contented with your devotion. Because anytime you reach that state of contentment in your devotion, you'll start going backwards. Never feel contented in doing God's work. Because how much really, if you ask yourself, you just really do for dharma? Some of us might shame it if we ask that question. What we just really do to help society? What we just really do to help the Mandir? What we just really do to help the village? Or are we just there to market ourselves and the publicity involved in it? Because even a lot of pundits in the business are only marketing and publicity. They're not doing it for the right purpose, right in that? So know yourself. Never be contented with your level of worship. Let it grow. Yada, he so Thursday will be another opportunity at midnight for you to light a little diya and say a little prayer and say, Bhagwan, you rock my world all the time. And if you have the opportunity to be in Mandir, rock the Bhagwan. And remind yourself, thank you God for rocking my world, for taking care of every breath and step of mine thus far in life. Because I know I wouldn't have made it so far without you, Lord. Simple little things is Dharma, you know. Not the big things that we concentrate on. Simple things. So final little piece of talk this morning. Midnight on Thursday, right? Good. Best time to rock the Bhagwan. Why midnight? We know in the avatar before, in Treta Yuga, Bhagwan came as Lord Ram. And it was what time? Midday. And when he came at that time, everything stood still. Because all the guardian deities, everyone was enchanted by Bhagwan Ram's avatar. So what seemed like a day or a few hours, really a whole year passed with nothing else changing. So everybody was happy. Even Surya Narayan, the sun, because at noon he is at his highest point. So who is the only person suffering? If everybody else there for a whole year. Who? The moon, which is opposite to the sun. Chandrama Devta. And he made a complaint now to Hari Vishnu Bhagwan. He said, nothing is moving, even Surya. Nothing spinning, everything stands still. You have them mesmerized, and I want to see your avatar too. And as a whole year reaching one day, it extends a whole year. One day. Prabhu, have a little mercy now. And as that time, Lord Vishnu gave him a promise, Chandrama a promise. What was the promise? He says, for your sacrifice, for the entire cosmos, because you is the only one sacrificing. For your sacrifice, I promise you, in my next avatar, you will be the first being to see me. That will be your reward. So that is why at midnight when Bhagwan took avatar, when he manifested in the jail, in Ugrasen's jail, his Nana's jail, and when the locks broke off, Vasudeva, because both Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned, when the chains dropped off by divine will, as he exited now to go to Gokul, who is the first person seeing him? Chandrama. So that was the payment of that Chandrama received for the price before. Also, another lesson from that is, you have to raise and come out of the dark jail that you have placed yourself in. The mental jail. And the Rakshasas guarding the jail there, not the police. Who are the Rakshasas in your jail, in your head? Lust, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, and the king of all of them, false pride. And what is false pride? An overestimation of your worth. It's like you go by the accountant to get your accounts in order now. And he doctors the books and he cooks the books up. So in case I'm making a profit on paper, you make a loss. So you have to pay no tax on it. That is one way I cook the books. But then we cook the books up here in our mind too. So we worth 10, but we just operate like we worth 1,000. And you see people that operate so? Know your worth and know how to increase your worth. And there's always room for improvement. So no matter how worthy you think yourself of, there's always room to become worthier. And that is the lesson of life. How to make yourself, how to, Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, a person lifts themselves by their own efforts, and also a person puts down themselves by their own efforts. It's your choice. And I know being here this morning, your choice is to lift yourself up. Correct? Correct, everyone?
Yeah.
So may Bhagwan continue to give you the strength to lift yourself up. But not only lift yourself up, in lifting yourself up and becoming strong, you must be able to lift others up. Because that's the purpose of you being strong. It's not to lift up yourself alone. It's to be able to lift up everybody. Right, folks? So may Bhagwan bless us, because what we spoke about this morning encompasses Krishna Bhagwan, Satnarayan, the ultimate truths that we should be with, and of course, Kartikeya Swami. You know who Kartikeya Swami is? Because he also is treated real bad in Trinidad, in general. Because we only remember Ganesh Baba. And few of us remember Kartikeya, the big son of Lord Shiva. And what Kartikeya, his other name is Skand. And Skand Devta or Kartikeya Swami did a whole Upanishad. It is called Skanda Upanishad. Upanishad is what? The verses of the Vedas. Explain more. So if it's Skanda Upanishad, Kartikeya Swami is explaining a little bit of the Vedas. And what he says here, and just remember this all the time. Shivasya hridayam Vishnuhu, Vishnuscha hridayam Shivaha, Yatha Shivamayam Vishnu Revam, Vishnu Mayaha Shivaha. Salutations to Lord Shiva, who is a form of Lord Vishnu. And salutations to Lord Vishnu, who is the heart of Shiva. Verily, both of them are one. You know, the Ishtadev of Lord Shiva is Lord Ram. And the Ishtadev of Lord Ram is Lord Shiva. So many of us, even long time, had Pakhan. You know it's Pakhan, right? A little hypocrisy. And many of us, that grew now. We have more now. Long time had a little bit. No, it have more. Because you say one thing today and then you do a next thing tomorrow. That being a hypocrite. Always remember, if you want to call yourself a real Vishnu Bhakt, you always have to have space for Lord Shiva, even more than Vishnu in your heart. And if you call yourself a Shiv Bhakt, you always have to have place for Lord Ram. Because if you don't have place for Lord Vishnu, and you call yourself a Shiv Bhakt, Lord Shiva says, not even in dream will you see me. Point being very simple, is to continue to your worship to all the forms and aspects of Bhagwan. Because the forms are the front, but the energy is the same. Rahman is good. Just as everyone here is a little different, right? And some of us plenty different. Just so with the devatas and devis. Everyone has a difference, but at the end of it, Atma Sutra. There's one thread connecting everything, just like a mala. This mala is crystal, sphatic, different beads. But what is holding each bead together?
Thread.
The thread. Sutra means thread, Atma Sutra. The thread of the super spirit joins us all together. And when you die, the spirit leaves, so you are not part of the mala anymore. So as you remain part of the mala, make sure that your place on the mala, just like these beautiful beads, make sure your life is an attractive one to everyone at all times. Attract goodness. Don't attract that which is not good. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So before we do our Havan and Arti and then final blessings this morning, then we'll probably chant the after, right? We are very, very fortunate this morning to have a senior, not only Pundit, but a senior person in Dharma. His accolades are too many for me to describe and introduce him as that. Best accolade for me, for him, is he's my father. And the type of work he has done, we can't even dream to do in terms of really living for Dharma. And I'll invite him at this time to bring up a few words of encouragement, advice, and whatever he wants. Mandali Shiva Basdeo. Of course, past principal, past executive for many years, 30 plus years on the executive of the Mahasabha and the executive of the Pundit's Parishad as well, Pundit Ji.
People, I've been associated with this place long before some of you were born. Or long before your father met your mother, to put it that way. I remember in the old days, Pundit Mahesh was regularly performing here, if not in the Mandir here, right down the road here, the other fellow named Klean and Sherifa. Right? And we used to frequent that place so much. But right next door here was our study. No?
Yeah, that side.
Is that side? I lose my bearings right now. That comes with age, Mr. Gheerahoo. He was one of the stalwarts and one of the persons who kept, especially classical singing, alive. And he was a devotee of this Mandir also. But I'm saying all of this is because I mean, we are fortunate to be blessed with the presence of Shiv Bhagwan. We are in his company right now. Not very many people can get that type of blessings. Not very many people are fortunate, to even look at Bhagwan. So when we come here, we should feel differently. This place should inspire us to moving onwards, to lifting ourselves. Because many times we are Hindus, only when we go to puja or when we go to judge and so on. And don't forget, many people on Sundays, they even come to the Mandir, but after that, Tamasic and Rajasic place takes over. Right? When we come here, it's not Tamasic and it's not Rajasic. What is it?
Sattvic.
Sattvic. You see, Tamasic and Rajasic, them sick too hard. So we should not follow them. Let us try to do these sattvic things which, instead of we offer, what some people offer, and they say in the name of Dima, or that they offer all sorts of things, and they say, well, but that really to fill their own bellies. Here we offer the sattvic things in puja, which God has recommended, our Vedas have recommended. And so, my friends, we are fortunate to belong, or to even to visit. I know I don't see many people who belong to this community here, and that has been bothering me for quite some time. The politicians, some of them are very kind to invest some of the government, the state funds here, where they hope that there will be participation. And I want to live until I see the day when the villagers here, the community members, will be more involved. I know long time it was so. Let us bring back long time. We have too much nowadays in our life. So let us just offer a short word of prayer in our recommended language to the Almighty Lord Shiva. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Hari Om Vande Deva Umapatim Suraguru Vande Jagat Karanam Vande Pannaka Bhushanam Megadharam Vande Pashunam Patim Vande Surya Shashankvahina Nayanam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhakta Janasanam Chavaranam Vande Shivam Shankaram. Har Har Mahadeva Ki Jai. Thank you very much, Panditji.
Say, Baba, you doing magic? Always remember, have two types of magic. One is called black magic. We all know about that one, right? And some people are experts in that. Black magic. But there is also white magic. Not the bottle of white magic long time. This is white magic. Sattvic devotion is white magic. So, this is magic too. But this is magic that will bring instant results, if not before instant. As well. Best magic, pure devotion to God. Samjhed? So we say, mix up. Om Agni Mile Purohitam Yagyasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam Agni Maharaj Ki
Jai.
And as we make our offerings this morning, may our sacrifices and the sacrifices of those of the past or pitras never be in vain. Om Achmanyam Punaha Achmanyam Shubha Achmanyam. Right? Om Prajapate Swaha. Om Agnaye Swaha. Om Somaya Swaha. Om Indraya Swaha. Om Ganapatye Swaha. Om Dumdukaye Swaha. Om Mrityunjay Mahadevaya Swaha. Om Mahalakshmi Swaha. Om Narayanaya Swaha. Om Suryaya Swaha. Om Chandramase Swaha. Om Mangalaya Swaha. Om Buddhaya Swaha. Om Guruve Swaha. Om Shukraya Swaha. Om Shanisharaya Swaha. Om Rahave Swaha. Om Ketave Swaha. Om Hanumate Swaha. Om Garudaya Swaha. Om Hayagrvaya Swaha. Om Baraha Swaha. Om Narasimhaya Swaha. Om Sita Mateshwari Swaha. Om Shri Ramaya Swaha. Om Vasudevaya Swaha. Om Sharvan Bhavaya Swaha. Om Nandi Swaha. Om Bhringi Swaha. Om Saptarishe Swaha. Om Satyanarayanaya Swaha. Om Kalashaya Swaha. Om Varunaya Swaha. Om Kubera Devtaya Swaha. Om Kshetrapalaya Swaha. Om Govindaya Swaha. Om Bhu Swaha. Om Bhuaha Swaha. Om Swaha Swaha. Om Janaha Swaha. Om Tapaha Swaha. Om Satyam Swaha. Om Maha Swaha. Om Ain Saraswatye Swaha. Om Gaura Parvatye Swaha. Om Shandil Munye Swaha. Om Shri Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Swaha. Shri Shevda, Rich Jama And you also blessed to have Richard here. You know, as a main pujari, because Richard does only move with the best of the Babas, you know. And to have him here, that is so wonderful. Because Richard is in fact one of the best nouns around the area. And Richard did this year again here, Pat. There's only high when I come in over here right through. Right. Good. That is great. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarmiva Bandhanan Mrityurmokshamamritat Swaha. So today is the third day now, or dark fortnight that we are in. Tritiya is governed by Gauri Ma Durga. So today is really the Devi Day. So may the blessings of the Universal Mother and your own mothers be with you at all times, and may all mothers be blessed. Bolo Om. Ain. Bri. Klean. Chamundaye. Vichaye. Swaha. Bolo Om. Ram. Rameti. Rame. Manorame. Sahasranam. Tatulyam. Ramanam. Varanane. Sri Maha Vishnave. Swaha. So that last mantra, who said that mantra? Who is the person who who gave unto the world that month. Rama Rameti Rameti. Who? Praise who? And only hear our prayer before it. Let's start off. Rama Rama Bhajan Bhajan. Rama Rameti Rameti. That is the prayer before Rama Rama Bhajan. Lord Shiva. Wash your hand and wipe. While he is doing that, I will give you the little history. Once Lord Shiva wanted to have breakfast with his darling, Parvati Ma. But Parvati Ma said, well, I have time to join in breakfast, Prabhu, because I still have to do Vishnu Sahasranam. After a few weeks ago, we were hearing on a few places about Sahasranam, the thousand name chanting of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Shiva said, well, you have to chant all 8,000 names, you know. Because if you chant Ram Nam one time, is just as good as chanting the 1,000 names, the other 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. And you know what? Parvati Mata listened to her husband. Because that's something people just forget to do now.
True.
Who to listen to and everything wrong side. The children the parents don't have to listen to the children. And the husband just have to listen more to the wife. The principal just have to listen to the teachers. The boss just have to listen to the workers, right? But Parvati Ma listened to Lord Shiva. And chanted Ram now. So Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tatulyam Ramanam. Chanting Iti Rameti once the name of Lord Ram is equal to the 1,000 other names. And when Lord Shiva saw his wife Parvati Ma chant the name and was ready to break bread with him, have breakfast with him, what did he do as the result? Ardhanarishwar. He dedicated, he became totally one with his wife. Because that what a husband has looked for some time, you know. Is to know the wife on the same page with the husband. Samjhe? That what sometimes a husband has wanted to do, and he will see how he will transform, you know. Lord Shiva transformed. And instead of Parvati Ma being separate from him, he said, from today we are one. Totally. Because you believe in the same thing I believe. Which is the supremacy of Lord Ram. So we have a common mindset now. So then we have the one. And he dedicated his left side to Parvati. So Parvati Ma and Lord Shiva became joined into one, which is called Ardhanarishwar. Har Har Mahadeva Ki Jai. Let us stand for final offering. Just as Shiva and Shakti became one, may we also merge in oneness as we do our Purnahuti. Om Purnamidaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Sarvavai Purnamivam Swaha. Om Papoham Pap Karmaham Papatma Pap Sambhav Trahimam Pundari Kamsu Sarva Paparohari Achmanyam Puna Achmanyam Shurva Achmanyam. Give it a little fan. Dog, you like that? It's strong. Om Vanaspati Rasur Bhutogam Dha Jogandautam Agreya Sarvadevanam Dhupam Pati Dehitam. Agni Maharaj ki Jai. Har Har Mahadeva ki Jai. Acha, so we'll prepare one time for our Aarti.
जय शिवोंकारा प्रभु हर शिवोंकारा जय शिवोंकारा प्रभु हर शिवोंकारा ब्रह्मा शिव हर धागे धारा। जय शिवोंकारा प्रभु ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर हर महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर हर महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। एकानन चतुरानन पंचानन राजे एकानन चतुरानन पंचानन राजे। हंसानन गरुडासन वृषवाहन महादेव। जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। दो भुज चार चतुर्भुज दस भुज सोहे दो भुज चार चतुर्भुज दस भुज के सोहे। तीनों रूप त्रिभुवन जन मोहे। जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। अक्षमाला वरमाला मुंडमाला धारे अक्षमाला वरमाला मुंडमाला धारे। चंदन मृग सोहे भोले शुभकारी। जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। श्वेतांबर पीतांबर बाघंबर अंगे श्वेतांबर पीतांबर बाघंबर अंगे। ब्रह्मादिक सर्वादिक प्रीतादिक संगे। जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। करके बीच कमंडल चक्र त्रिशूल करता। जग करता जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा। ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव ओम हर 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 महादेव। ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव जानन अविनेता ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव जानत अभिनेता
धनवाचल के माहे ये तीनों वेदा
जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा
ओम हर हर महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
त्रिभुवन स्वामी चित्यार की जो कोई नर गावे
त्रिभुवन स्वामी जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे
कहत शिवानंद स्वामी मनवांछित फल पावे
जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा
ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव धागीदारा
ब्रह्मा विष्णु सदा शिव हर धागे धारा
जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा
ओ बाबा जय शिव ओंकारा प्रभु हर शिव ओंकारा
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा
नारायण नारायण ओम लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण ओम लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा
ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा
ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा
हर हर महादेव की जय।
F sharp minor and then G. G. No, F sharp minor and then G. Not G sharp, G. G.
बम भोले बम भोले बम 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 बोलो बम भोले बम भोले बम 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 यही मंत्र है यही तंत्र है यही मंत्र है यही तंत्र है प्रेम से जपोगे तो मिटे सारे गम बम भोले बम 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 भोले बम 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 भोले बम 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 भोले बम 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 कलातीत कल्याण कल्पांतकारी प्रभु के प्रसीद प्रभु प्रभु ममतारी प्रभु ममतारी प्रभु कलातीत कल्याण कल्पांतकारी प्रसीद प्रभु ममतारी प्रभु मनधारी चिदानंद संदोह मोह पहारी प्रसीद प्रसीद प्रभु मनधारी शिव का नाम हो सुबह शाम हो बम भोले बम भोले बम 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 भोले बम भोले बम बम बोलो बम भोले बम भोले बम 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 भोले बम भोले बम 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 भोले बम भोले Om Namah Shivaya 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 Har Har Mahadev Ki Jai. So, the clasp of hands close our eyes. Mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam janardanam yad pujitam maya deva paripurnam tadastu me avahanam न जानामि विसर्जनम् पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर गतं पापं गतं दुःखं गतं दारिद्र्यमेव च अगतां सुखसम्पत्ति पुण्योऽहं तव दर्शनात् त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Hari Om Tat Sat Hari Om Tat Sat सिद्धि विनायक गणपति गणेश भगवान की जय महादुर्गा माता की जय हर हर महादेव की जय सूर्यादि नवग्रह भगवान की जय महाविष्णु भगवान की जय लक्ष्मी महारानी की जय सरस्वती माता की जय पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय सर्व संतों की जय सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय धर्म रक्षते रक्षितः as you protect your dharma will always protect you सबको जय जय सीताराम Mangalam. God's blessings upon everyone. Please take your seats. At this time, I'd like to invite Sriman Munilal, Officer Munilal, President Munilal.
Devotees सबको जय सीताराम To our officiating Pundit this morning, Pundit Sunil Basdeo. Many, many thanks to you here, Panditji, for taking the opportunity and accepting the invitation to officiate our Satnarayan and Krishna Puja this morning. We always welcome and adore your presence and knowledge that you always depart with us. And it is really indeed an honor to have you, as well as your dad, Pandit Sharma, with us here this morning. And may Bhagwan continue to bless you with all that is necessary for you to continue in this life, to do that good work that you were sent here to do. Bhagwan Shiva's choices blessings upon you both. To the Shota and Kabitan, Bhagwan blessings upon you for taking the opportunity to accept to be the Shota this morning and fast and prepare yourself to make offerings. The members of the Bhajan group this morning, uniting together and creating that vibration, making this Mandir feel very vibrant. Once again, every Sunday morning we're trying to do so. And with a few additions this morning, may Bhagwan continue to bless each and every one of you for taking that sacrifice and opportunity to do what it is that you love. Because if it is, you would not love what you do, you would not have been here. And to all devotees, Bhagwan Shiva's choices blessings upon each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule and dedicating Sunday morning to operate like that battery charger, as we normally say on a Sunday morning, where you will go for the entire week. But when Sunday morning comes, you come to re-energize yourself, to face the hurdles and the battles that this life has for us. So with the blessings of Bhagwan Shankar, I'm sure that all obstacles, no matter what it may be, all hurdles, no matter how big of a mountain may seem, it will be eradicated. And as devotees of Bhagwan Shankar, we will continue to be blessed. And with that guidance and protection, be successful in this life. Let me take this opportunity to extend an invitation to each and every one of us. Commencing on the 30th of this month will be Ganesh Utsav Festival. Our Mandir, in collaboration with the Silal Sri Vishwanath Mandir, will be having a 5 nights Ganesh Yatra. Commencing on the 30th and the 31st will be at the Silal Sri Vishwanath Mandir. And continuing on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of September will be hosted at the Gheerahoo Shiva Mandir right here. Visurgence will be on Sunday the 4th of September, and we intend to leave the Mandir grounds at 4 a.m., proceeding to the Clifton Hill Beach facility where we will conduct our Visurgence. So that invitation, please accept it and pass on the invitation to anyone that you may come across desirous of attending Ganesh Utsav celebrations. Devotees, as Panditji, you have enlightened each and every one of us, both Panditjis, in their message, very, very important. Though it may be a lot to consume in that short space, let us all be reminded and guided that once there is a will, there will always be a way. Once there is a will, there will always be a way. And what Panditji was trying to say is that we need to make the effort. Because if we do not make the effort, no one will make the effort for us. So while it is we have the opportunity, let us grasp it, take the opportunity. We are already here. Make your offerings. Everything is provided. Make that opportunity, because we do not know if we will have the opportunity to do it this evening or tomorrow or even come back on Sunday. So that message is very, very powerful, and we do take that message, Panditji, and we will apply it to our minds to elevate ourselves so that maybe one day we will have that higher level of thinking. Refreshments have been provided for each and every one of us to partake and take away as we make our way home. I ask for the assistance of Aruna and Shivanan to guide distribution of the Arti and Panchamrit and so forth, as well as Panditji will dictate. And please accept the Prasad, Arti, Panchamrit that will come your way, as well as refreshments. Sabko Jai, Sitaram.
So as we